Well, hello. Hello to all of you. Greetings. I feel like I should sing you a song. No, Whimsy, please don't. Something like Strangers in the Night. Da 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 da. La 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 la. You guys know that one? I don't know what key I would do that in. That's a little Frank Sinatra. Strangers in the night. La, 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 la. He was a crooner, wasn't he? Let me see if I can turn this down. Is that what I did? Yes, there I go. How is everyone? Happy Thursday. Happy Hot Topics. It's great to see everybody here on this Thursday. We've got a lot to talk about. Cheers, cheers, cheers to you all. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. This is our tea time get together, Hot Topics Thursdays. And I want to thank you for deciding that you're going to spend this time with me. It makes me feel special, and it makes me feel like I got to deliver. I got to do my best. So if you haven't done so yet, it would be really awesome if you could like and subscribe to this channel. That would be great. Also, if you haven't done so yet, it would be great if you could turn to the person in this virtual table. This table extends throughout the entire world. This is our tea time table. And anybody who wants to join us can join us. We accept everyone at our tea time table. We only ask that you be kind to all and that all be kind to you. So if you could just turn to the person next to you and say hi in the virtual table to your left, to your right, and tell us, who are you? Where are you coming from? What's the weather like? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What time of day is it? What's your favorite color? What's your astrological sign? I mean, tell us who you are. I always like to ask people, like, what are you eating? I'm a foodie. I love food. Oh, Sally's in beautiful Seattle. Well, I'll tell you where I'm at. I am in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. I am broadcasting live from somewhere deep in the heart of downtown Portland, Oregon. And we've got Joanna Carson here. Thank you for being a member, Joanna. It's appreciated. She is coming in from Dallas. We've got Puente, California, Lupa Villa. Hi, Lupa. Good to see you here. Jill Linda in Washington State with a nice big heart. Wildflower Wind is having a TV dinner. Hey, but it's fettuccine Alfredo. So even a bad fettuccine Alfredo is still fettuccine Alfredo. Remember that. And Marie Henson, blue is her favorite color. She's a Leo. She's drinking coffee at 6 p.m. and she's in North Texas. Great to have you here, Marie Henson, and thank you for being a member. Hi, Susan W. from Jacksonville, Florida, where it's cloudy right now. Super Queen Bee is here from San Francisco and helping us. I appreciate that. The great Ian McGrath, always a pleasure to have him here. He was able to talk with Mary Trump. Good for you. And we've got the Copper Broom here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Rebecca is in the house from Little Colorado. Thank you for being here. Jessica Bennett. Breathe in love, exhale peace. Ooh, I like that. She's in Minnesota. Atlanta in the house with Painted Cherokee. Well, now that we know how everybody is and everybody's coming together, we can go ahead and get started. We've already got 129 likes and 344 people in the house. Shatarina Fritz is here from Sweden. Oh, Christine says it's humid and overcast where she's at. we have a nice fairy. Karina's a fairy. We've got someone from Millnocket, Maine. Very nice. Hi, Joanna Burgess. All right. So, first thing I wanted to talk about is student loan forgiveness. That was nice. Hi, Kay. Great to see you here. Hi, Catherine in Tampa. Great to see you. A Libra. Lovely. 88 degrees in Missouri. Wow. That's just too hot. I don't enjoy extreme heat. I don't know about the rest of you. Oh, we got a Mayan blessing from Cozumel, Mexico. Yeah. So liking, subscribing is appreciated. Also, if you become a member, that's a great way of supporting the channel. We do have memberships. I just wanted to say that Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Is it 5 p.m.? Yeah, it's 5 p.m., right? Tuesdays at 5 p.m. every week. We have open class for members to learn basic technique for heart-centered remote viewing. If you'd like to get certification, you would join the YouTube family here at the Healers and Empaths level. You don't have to come to class on Tuesday. If you're working, you can always catch the classes later and do the exercises on your own, and you'll still get credit if you are trying to get certification. Oh, Kansas City is in the house. Sedona. Hi, Hari. Hi, Sue Adair. Hi, Donna Fuller from Richmond, Virginia. Oh, Kay's favorite color is yellow. I love yellow too, Kay. It's too bad there isn't more yellow clothing. Candied carrots. That sounds delicious. Do the HCRV manuals have a fee? No, I'm just typing up the class notes and I give them to people who are members. Eventually it'll turn into a book. I'm sure it will. The problem is I'm not the most motivated person in the world. So, all right. And I also wanted to say thank you to people who are coming in and getting Wizio readings. We offer the Wizio readings. I think they're 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, depending. And there's a taped, I think it's something like 20, 25 bucks, depending. And also tarotwithwhimsy.com if you need to speak to me for readings. So I appreciate that. And donations also. Much gratitude to those people who are giving super chats. It really helps the channel as well. All right. Those are all of my announcements. Goodness. So much to discuss. Ooh, we got someone from the northern foothills of California, Helene Robinson. Nice. Hi, Shield Maiden Feminine. Ooh, Barb Young, Iowa in the house. Ooh, having ice cream. You know what ice cream I've been eating a lot lately? Tell me what your favorite ice cream is. I've been eating Tillamook chocolate chip. My sister's favorite is Cherry Garcia. My complaint about, here is a complaint I would like to make about Ben and Jerry's. They need bigger tubs. The tubs are too small. They need to get like a half a gallon. Why don't they have? Do they have larger ones? I don't seem to see them in the stores very often. Breyers, really? Just good old fashioned vanilla, Debbie. Interesting. I used to love pistachio. That's very popular in the Middle East, like Turkey, Greece, etc. They're really big into pistachio ice cream. Oh, I want to make me some homemade ice cream. I remember making it homemade. Moose tracks. See the problem? Oh, Umka. I know. Do you think Umka's better than Tillamook, or do you think it's too sweet? Rum raisin is hard to find. Baskin and Robbins. Interesting. Ooh, Turkey Hill. I've never heard of that one. Butter pecan. Interesting. Oh, keto ice cream. That's nice. With coconut, I assume, right? Well, I think as soon as I get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. I'm here for an hour or two until you folks get sick of me. I just need to get the order and then we can do the impasse prayer. Thank you so much, Joel. Let us bow our heads in prayer. And if you're an atheist, that's okay too. We'll just use it as a moment to focus. Okay, Oregon Umka. I thought it was too sweet, but let me give it a second try. Yeah, the idea is an ice cream that's not too sweet, so that you can really taste the cream and the other flavors. Yeah. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. Amen. Ooh, Joe Tilson just mentioned Huckleberry. That's a great jam, also. I like Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, I like Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, so the first thing I was going to talk about was just, that I'm happy that the student loans came in. So if a person, say you are married and you and your husband collectively owe 50K in student loans, she owes 10, you owe 10, that's going to drop your student debt from 50K, a married couple, to 30K. That is a nice chunk of change. If you are trying to pay down student loan debt. So I thought that was really great. Anyone besides me do iced lattes in the summer? It's just too hot for hot coffee. Well, after the age of 27 in Washington State, if you have a low income, then you get free education. But I took a little extra out for like books and rent and things like that. So I really didn't owe that much money before I went to medical school. The majority of my student loans were for medical school. Yeah. But let's look at the future of student loan debt and let's see if more debts are coming. I know that debt reduction is coming. I know that Elizabeth Warren has really been pushing to get forgiveness for seniors. And I think that's going to be one of the things, that comes next because we really want to be protecting people's social securities. So let's take a look at the future of a debt in America, starting with student loan debt. We will blitz, blitz, blitz away, darlings. Well, it definitely is a problem. The main problem, I think, is the private loans. The federal loans will probably get predominantly forgiven. The main thing is people want to have the interest forgiven. So you take $10,000 off and you're struggling and you never make enough to pay it off. And then you wind up owing 20,000 and you've given the government 5,000 because of compounded interest. So the government takes off 10,000. What they're taking off is the compounded interest. So what it really is slicing off part of the compounded interest, but you still have a situation with debt in America, and a large percentage of the debt is in people who are baby boomers, like me, Generation X. So where we're at right now, 10 of swords, it's not enough for people who have major debt. It's not enough. I kind of fall in the cracks too. I mean, there's not enough relief for people who are, say, adult children who were in foster care who didn't have those resources. Um, there's this assumption that, well, if you get your doctoral degree, you're white middle class, you should be able to do certain things. There are a lot of assumptions baked in. Talk to your parents. There are certain assumptions we have in our system right now that make it so that if you are a poor person who has fallen through the cracks because you come from a dysfunctional family situation or whatnot, it doesn't encourage you to be able to figure out a system like that. And so what happens is that these kids are trying to get ahead, and then they go into a trade school, like chef school or something like that. They owe 25,000. They take out private loans. They wind up defaulting on the loans. Maybe they get a job for minimum wage working as a sous chef or something like that. So the situation still remains dire for the student. However, you do have some relief coming in, nice Six of Cups coming in from the government, the hope and the fear that it's not enough. You've got a major overhaul. It goes back really to what Elizabeth Warren has said, that we need a total overhaul of our educational system. 10 of Wands moving into the hope and the fear. They're saying that throwing $10,000, which is just pay them marking off probably the majority of the interest that was not part of the original loan anyway. So it's kind of, you know, if they gave out $1 trillion in money, and now the American people owe $3 trillion because they invented compounded interest, and then they say, okay, we'll be nice, we'll write off $1 trillion. They still haven't lost any money because the American people only borrowed $1 trillion. So the system is baked in a way like, okay, we'll take off $1 trillion. You still ended up making $1 trillion profit. So it's a huge mess. They're saying that the situation is not going to change until it's real leadership. Right now, it's a game. We'll cut off 10,000. You and I know that the majority of that is probably compounded interest, money that you didn't borrow anyway. We're going to play this game so that you'll vote for us, so that we'll get in January, and we'll keep. But if we give you everything you want, there's no need for you to come and vote for us. We have to give you just enough to have you holding on for more. It almost has that aspect. The final outcome over the issue of debt is the King of Rods. And the King of Rods is leadership. You know, what ultimately we need is some. Also, I would say that as an archetype, the King of Rods is extremely brave. They're not afraid to have egg on their face. They're red with passion, but they're also often red with embarrassment. They go for it. They throw themselves in. They are the most likely to be shamed and embarrassed because they're most willing to make a fool of themselves. So, but that is exactly what you need in true leadership. The final outcome is the King of Wands, which is true leadership, somebody coming in and taking charge of the situation. Right, but it's very bad. I mean, look, the main issue, like I'm saying, is the private loans from banks, and the fact that George Bush Jr., I think it was, won't let us declare bankruptcy. Here it is. More assistance is coming. So if you're asking, is there going to be more assistance coming for student loan debt? The answer is absolutely yes. You can see a 2 of Cups after the 6 of Cups over the issue of what the government's going to be doing. Over the issue of the overhaul, they're going to have to pull back. They're going to pull back on interest rates. They're going to start forgiving interest. You can see here, you have the 10 of Wands, which is overhaul, 2 of Pentacles, which is like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. It's when you really have to start putting every coin and figuring out how you're going to pull something off. That's really pulling back. The final outcome, The system will crash if they don't begin to get rid of the compounded interest debt. That's the main concern, is the compounded interest debt, and the fact that they're making it too difficult for people to get forgiveness if they're disabled or seniors, etc. You can see a crash coming. They'll have no choice but to forgive it. So my advice is to delay paying your government loans back as long as possible, because the system is going to collapse and inevitably they're going to have to write it off. And since, you know, 3 out of the $4 is invented debt anyway. So think about that. It's invented debt. Isn't that weird? I borrowed $188,000. I've been paying it back for how many years? They've gotten tens of thousands of dollars from me, but I owe the government $350,000. So if the government says, you know what, Whimsy, out of the goodness of our heart, we're going to forgive $200,000, you only owe $150,000, I would break out laughing, because I borrowed $188,000 and I've already given you half, and I'm still giving you, and so you're only going to make a profit of $50,000. Okay. So if you look at interest, 3.5% interest, they made what, $10,000-$15,000 off me. All right. Plus they increased my taxes. I fell into whatever. Trust me, the government has calculated everything. Oh, you're a doctor now. Oh, you're in private practice. They're like ghouls. Think about the tax man as a kind of ghoul. You ever see that show on NBC where the guy almost like seems to enjoy hearing how gruesome the murder was? Ooh, and then what did you do? Oh, tell us how you chopped up the body. Bill Hader used to do an impersonation of the guy. You're not going to tell us how you murdered the. Show us how you did it. There's a kind of gruesomeness here, folks. 10 of swords, 3 of swords. How bad does it have to get? And so I think that we're looking at Americans throwing their hands up and saying, you know what? You might as well forgive the loans because we're not paying it. It's not like it's going to get more gruesome. It can't get more gruesome. Exactly, Joanna. You borrowed $50,000. How much have you given? You've probably given back $40,000, and now they owe $100,000. It's invented debt. It's not real debt. So forgiving it isn't real either. That's the joke. And they increased your taxes because when the people who have their master's degree in marketing and business calculated this whole thing, they knew that people with your degree were going to be in a higher tax bracket. So they already got their money back when you went to work for 20 years and they increased your taxes. So they already were paid back. Ask yourself this: how much taxes did you pay when you were a diner waitress earning minimum wages? Then you went to college and then they said, oh, we're getting our money back. That's what the government does. And that's why they don't have to worry. That's why it's a good investment for the government. They pay for you to go to school, and then they spend the next 25 years taking money from you because you're now statistically at a higher tax bracket. So they've profited. Educating your citizens is profitable. All right, we have another question here coming from Marie Henson. A lot of people have had some concerns about this. Oh, hi, Melissa Miller. Good to see you here. Thanks for your help. Yeah, and I think that, well, Elizabeth Warren is a community college grad herself, from community college to Harvard, right? So it's doable. Let's take a look at the future of rent control. Particularly, I know some of the areas, Austin's up something like 117% in some areas. This is insane. So let's take a look. People are being priced out of the market. And I just want to say also that when you go to negotiate your raises, these are things that you have to be able to stand up and say, look, I'd love to continue to work for your company, but one of two things are going to happen. Either number one, you're going to have to let me be a teleworker because I can't afford to live in this neighborhood. So I'm happy to continue working with you, but to be honest with you, I can get a studio apartment in La Rochelle in the south of France for $450 a month. So I'm out of here. I'm more than happy to get up at 4 in the morning and go to work, but the United States is just too expensive. So arrivederci. I'm off to this, to the Italian Mediterranean or whatever. The point is that with rent control, I think a lot of people are starting to feel like they have more options, but they also have to be able to say, look, I can't afford my rent, so I need a raise. If I can't get a raise, then I have to be able to be a teleworker because I can't afford this town. And that's another incentive for employers. Either you give me a raise so I can afford to live in New York, excuse me, or you let me leave and go live in an area where I can afford the rent and I telework. So those are really the options for companies, and employees need to tell the truth. What I see is I see people moving out of major cities, and I see a rising increase in teleworkers because companies would rather have teleworkers than give raises. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. What do you think about that? Time to move to Portugal? I mean, that's the frustration here. This card is also a little bit annoying too, because an Eight of Cups would be a willingness to let your senior workers walk out because you think a younger employee with less experience is going to take less money. It's walking away from what you've spent years building. But there's an ethos here too, excuse me, with rent control, because you also have a hierophant ethics, a lot of pressure on Biden to do something, and Six of Cups would indicate relief. Expect housing vouchers also for seniors and people who fall below the poverty line. I see vouchers being issued. Six of Cups is assistance, and that's the outcome. This is Biden's card, by the way. A couple things are happening. Several things are happening. One of the things that I'm seeing, I'm starting to get some information coming in, is that many of the office buildings are going to be converted into affordable housing. And in many states, the federal government is going to sell those apartments to people on fixed incomes. So you could own your own studio, your own one bedroom. So you have these commercial properties, they're going in. They did the same thing in downtown Los Angeles. Now it's become gentrified, but they do have a certain number of homes where you're going to be able to buy, where if you're on a fixed income, you can have your own studio. So what happened is that a lot of office buildings started shutting down, and now they're being converted into affordable, and it looks like people are going to buy. It's going to be like Habitat for Humanity. A lot of people are going to be able to buy their own apartments. They're going to be converted into apartments. I'll show you. You have walking away from what you've built. So there is a now telling people that with these cards that you have to be open-minded, that a lot of people could be moving on. But you have also a really nice card coming in that has to do with leadership and intelligence and scholarship, which is the Hermit, which is finding solutions. What I also like is that there's a lot coming up in the cards over the United States over the values and the ethics of the country, which I think is very interesting. The other thing I like about it is that under the hopes and the fears, you have Biden and a 10 of Cups, which is assistance. And then the final outcome is to be offered homes, deals, and then you have these businessmen coming in. So you have conversions happening. Same thing's happening in Seattle. I know Mackenzie Uh, she was Mackenzie Bezos. I don't know her name now because she's newly married. You have people just building these really cool apartments that are affordable, but they're also converting. It looked like affordable condos in downtown areas, and so everybody will be able to own their own home. I think that's so cool. So everybody will have their 350, 400 square feet if they want it, with very little down payment through government programs. This looked to me, particularly with that King of Pentacles energy coming in, like there is going to be a very aggressive pull in the coming years to make sure that Americans are off the streets and have housing. It's so interesting that my cards that are associated with work, commuting, teleworking, it's also kind of depressing in a sense of, are you willing to give me an extra 250 a month to pay for my rent increase in Austin, or do I have to move out of Austin and be a teleworker living in the Appalachians? Okay, we'll take the Appalachians, but we're going to be making sure you're working as hard as ever. In plain words, you're going to work as hard as ever. You can live wherever, but you're not going to have a rent increase, and you may be forced to live in a really crappy neighborhood, or you could just leave the country altogether and move to Ecuador. So that's the situation that's so crappy, and that's why you get these cards coming in like opportunities and King of Pentacles. It's almost like which also has to do with investors. Yeah, that's ridiculous, Joanna. A lot of places that are rent controlled, but this building that I live in, some of the people that live here are rent controlled, some are not. I am not. I like it. It's a mixed building. The building next door was mixed, and now it's become a condos, and they're selling the condos to the people that lived there. So I was looking at the price. It's a building exactly like this building next door, but now it's gotten convert. They're just selling. So you have people that have been living there for 20 years, paying $250 a month on rent control, Social Security, and they're like, "Do you want it? Do you want a condo? How much do you pay? $250. Fine. It's a government program, and they're just converting them to condos. I think it's great." I was like, should I buy one of those? I mean, like I have a studio here. It's the same exact studio. It's across the street. They're selling them. It's in my price range. And then I thought, I don't want to do that. I want to be free to go wherever I don't want to own anything, because as soon as you own something, then you're stressed out. You're stressed out about it. No, I'm too much of a gypsy, I think. My sister kept saying, do not buy, Whimsy. I know you. Do not buy, do not buy, do not buy. Even it's like, but the prices are going down, and they just converted the building next door to. She's like, don't, I know you, Whimsy. Don't do it. Sure enough, a week later, I'm like, I have to go to Japan, and I want to spend a month in Portugal, and then I want to be in Lisbon, and then I want to do this. And she's like, exactly. I just love to travel too much. Mobile homes are nice, but I don't drive. So I'm like a hobo without a car. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but when I was a kid, I wanted to grow up and be a hobo. I wanted to just ride the rails. And my dad did it when he was a kid. And so he would tell us tales of riding the rails and being free, and just the wind on your back, and you're free to ride the rails. And I thought, oh, I want to live like that. I just want to be free and ride the rails. And needless to say, you would probably be concerned of a child dreaming of being a hobo, right? But I've always had that gypsy side to me. Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple more questions that came in. People wanted me to clarify the issue with Bill Barr, because Bill Barr lied. We now know that. And they want to know if there will be any legal consequences, because his cards were absolutely horrible. And would I please take a look, because they're convinced that he's not going to be prosecuted. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we looking at the legal? Here's the question that legal minds are saying now that the evidence is coming out with Bill Barr. For sure, he's under investigation. Why would he be under investigation? What did he do? What did he do that might be criminal? That was the question. What did he do that could fall under the category of being criminal? Oh, hi, Terry. Good to see you here. Very good, Marjorie Harrison. So, what Nance and what's that guy's name? The guy that worked on the Mueller report who was interviewed last night. They believe that he engaged in obstruction of justice, that he used his powers in the Justice Department to suppress a criminal probe. He put his thumb on justice and he politicized the Justice Department to such a point where they believe that he obstructed the law. So let's take a look real fast, and then we'll go into some of the elections. Is that okay with you guys, or do you want me to keep working on finances? I'm seeing a lot of questions, but let's go ahead and just answer really quickly if it's going to get to the point where we know he was flanked by two attorneys when he was being questioned. We know that there was a grand jury investigation prior to the raid. So we know that Bill Barr has been talking to the Justice Department. We know he's scared. We know he was flanked by two attorneys when he spoke to the January 6th committee. So let's see because I saw actual charges. And I think Cash Peters saw possibly charges, or his cards were also pretty bad. He suppressed data. What I like about these cards and what I like about the new Justice Department is that we can say with complete confidence that our president has nothing to do with this. President Biden is not in any way, shape, or form involved in the Justice Department. He's under investigation for hiding evidence. It's not just that he obstructed. This is a card of hiding evidence. So there's also a question here of possible moving or actually hiding or suppressing evidence. Also, he's under investigation for weaponizing the Justice Department. It's going to be exposed within 30 days. It's a 1-month period. He is under investigation. Oh, the Justice Department has a six of wands. So if you're worried about prosecution over January 6th, they are prosecuting and they're going to win. They have a victory card over the prosecutions. They've also got evidence. They've got extensive evidence against Bill Barr that he lied and he obstructed justice. And I think he could lose his law license. This is a guy getting reported. This is Bill Barr, by the way. That's not good. Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles is like evidence. He's in trouble. I'd be very, 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 very surprised if he didn't lose his law license. Also, I just feel so afraid as Bill Barr. You know, I don't feel quite as cocky. This is a very different Justice Department than the previous Justice Department. Oh, Pete Arredondo is crying on the news, according to Joanna Carson. He lost his job. He's the police chief. over Uvalde. So that's unfortunate that got to that point, but I'm not surprised. Joe Tilson wants to know if Bill Barr will make a plea deal. I would assume so, but he's trying to be as cooperative as possible and not lie. I mean, you saw how measured he was. But it goes back to the report we kept seeing of those two women seeing irregularities. There were irregularities, and he was doing a lot of things he shouldn't have been doing, possibly threatening people. It doesn't surprise me that it got to this point. It doesn't surprise me that the judge ruled that way, and that in and of itself is part of evidence to build a case against him. Okay, so the next question we have is coming from Miss Mom G3. Hello, Miss Mom G3. She wants to know if Charlie Crist is going to be the governor of Florida. I know everybody is all assuming that Ron DeSantis is a shoo-in, that he's just going to waltz right in, and everybody loves Ron DeSantis. But Ron DeSantis has never had to deal with the kind of attacks that are going to be coming his way in the next few weeks. And there's also some criminal probes that are going to be going down. Florida is a swamp, and he's going to be linked to them. So while Ron DeSantis is riding high now, he could be crashing in the future, but we'll go ahead and take a look. All right, Charlie Crist and DeSantis. Charlie Crist. Okay, Charlie Crist. Charlie Crist is a very good debater about the facts. He's kind of an old-time Republican in the sense that he's kind of very grounded. He's kind of like he's kind of like Robert Mueller, Republican. Like has that kind of energy. Right now, I would say he's building. He's building his attacks against DeSantis, Seven of Wands, building up his fortresses. Ron DeSantis thinks he has to do nothing. He just has to stand and be his. He's very cocky, and I think that he's going to be surprised. King of Swords, Hopes and Fear, Six of Cups, and then Knight of Pentacles goes nowhere. It's slow going. It could be that either he has a slow going campaign. He's going to be partnering with other people. What sign is DeSantis? It's possible that I think Chris Christie could win, and the reason I say that is because that's what happened in California. People got tired of the meanness, and Brown came in, and people knew him, and they wanted to go back to. They wanted to go back to that kind of. He's a Virgo. All right. Right now, it's showing DeSantis winning, but I want to just go because the final outcome was the King of Pentacles. So right now it's leaning towards DeSantis. But I still feel that excuse me, Charlie Chris could pull it off. Hi, Ann Dillon, by the way. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's some kind of criminal case looming and some kind of criminal investigation, and it seems to it's going to wreak havoc on his career, even to the point where DeSantis may not even have a career in the future. His final outcome is the Four of Swords, no future. Somebody's coming after him. Look at that. Lady Justice stands in his fourth house. Something happened. He witnessed something, or it always says that, like something goes down. Yes, see, it's always the same. Look, court, investigation, the police, investigation. Something happened. Does anybody know anything about it? I can't keep up with everything. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for being a member. So Rebecca is asking about CNN. I think that I would like to believe that CNN is trying to move away from this, punching bag, aggressive debate style, because it's actually really hurting the country. And I think it should just be the facts, right? So, if that's what they're saying, if they're saying that they're moving away from the punching bag style, because it's just creating. Look, we're on the verge of civil war because of cable television, partly because of cable television. Cable television has really encouraged Americans to fight, and CNN is built like a sports channel, and you're supposed to support your team, right? So people started violently standing for their team, the Democrats, but it's gotten to a point now where it's gotten dangerous. And I think that what leadership in CNN is saying is not that they're going to go conservative. That what they're saying is they're trying to move away from an antagonistic way of getting people to spar, because it's ultimately harmful for the country. But let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at the future of CNN. Thank you, Debbie, for your help today, by the way. So if I can't go to Japan because they don't have the visas open, I'm waiting to see if I can get individual visa for Japan. It's still not open. Where should I go instead? Pick my destination if I can't go to Japan. Should I go to Portugal? This is my fall vacation. Like, if you could go anywhere in the world, Thailand. Thailand's rainy season is in October. So Southeast Asia is not an option. Portugal is an option. Korea is going to be rainy. South America might be rainy season. I have to check. Ireland, my sister wants to go to Ireland. Greece, I've already gone to. Ecuador, it's going to be rainy season. India, I think it's rainy season. Gone to Spain. Portugal, I really want to go to Japan. Like, really bad. I want to see the fall, and I want to take the ferries, and I want to go to Thailand really bad. It's really inexpensive, but they say if you go in October, it rains nonstop, and you'll be in Thailand and you'll have a good time, but it'll be nonstop rain. I just don't want to do that. Same with Vietnam. I've been having dreams where I go on these adventures where I'm going to travel the world, and I take a wrong turn and I wind up in like some remote village in Vietnam, and it's really exciting and fun. So I think Okay, my subconscious wants me to visit Vietnam. Singapore, yeah, a lot of people say that they have a good time in Singapore. You're right, Catherine Lane. I want what I cannot have, but here's the solution. Give me what I want. Love Australia, Tina. Have not been to Finland. I will definitely go to that part of the world once there's peace. Okinawa, I just saw a video on Okinawa. Very nice. Peru, yeah. Not every place. Oh, I am going to go to Mount Fuji. I'm looking forward. They just have to open up travel to individual travel. Right now, if you want to visit Japan, you have to go through a tour agency and then you got to spend all this money and it's closed to individual tourists. So I had to hold off on going. Romania is awesome. Oh, how awesome is that? I've been watching the channel Frugal Travelers. Have you guys seen Frugal Travelers? Yeah, Frugal Travelers. The bullet train in Japan. I want to do it all. Well, I think what I'll do is just not go anywhere, save my money, continue to live frugally, and then just go to Japan when Japan opens up. You know, I don't want to waste money if it's someplace I really don't have my heart into. And where I really want to go is Japan. I know Kay is really big into travel also. Egypt. Yeah, my sister just got back from Egypt. She said it was an incredible trip. Oh, I can see aliens. Nice. That's cool. All right. The future of CNN. Okay. It's the violence, it's the animosity, it's the threats of lawsuits. It's that's it. They don't want to have all this fighting anymore. Also, people have gotten killed, people have been threatened. Uh, it's become too volatile. Now they're talking about civil war. So that was the decision. There are ways to present the facts and to interview everybody without softball, but also move away from this violence. What's interesting is that Archangel Raphael is over the project, and that's the healing. They kind of got themselves the shows that they were doing. They got themselves kind of in um, they got themselves in a bind a little bit. You can see here also, people got hurt. It was they were creating sparring. It was not factual. It was personal opinion. People sitting around and giving their opinions. And now you have some really great cards, which is like Six of Pentacles, which is also about justice and righting a wrong. But what I like is it's wanting to go back to the values of journalism. And you can see smoother waters lay ahead in Three of Cups. So what they're saying is not that they're going Republican. They're going away from trying to get people to fight. Oh, I hate the Repubs. Oh, what do they call it? Libtards. That kind of libtards and repubs and all of that crap uh, is really dangerous for the country. And I actually support their decision to just work on being a good news agency and away from this partisan politics. It's dangerous and it's not what the country needs. So it's a good decision. All right, Joanna Carson would like to know. Hi, Joanna. If there's going to be changes to the Supreme Court. Let's find out. Will there be changes? Bali is raining. New Zealand is going to be raining. I have to wait. The other side of the planet is a no-go. Like Southeast Asia, they say go in the spring. April's the best time to go to, I think they said, to Vietnam. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple people leaving the Supreme Court. Yeah, there's one person having a health crisis and one person, I think Thomas and Kavanaugh are both leaving. You have somebody having a health issue, heartbreak, and then leaving. Then you've got somebody facing potentially betrayal and legal issues. I think that's Kavanaugh. And then here also fighting and legal issues. And then the final outcome, the legacy, and then a Six of Cups, which would be for another person to come and receive the offer. I think the next person is going to be a male, and I think he's going to be Latino, and I think he's also going to be someone with a history serving in the military. That's the next person. Either he looks to be either Latino or possibly Filipino, and he appears to be someone with a military history. All right, we had another question that was kind of interesting that was asked a couple of times. Let's see here. Oh, I would love to go to Morocco, Carl. Let's see here. There was a question, and I don't want to miss it. It was asked a couple of times. Oh, yeah. The question had to do with the expansion of NATO. Gunnar was asking. Okay, let's take a look about the future of NATO. Is everybody having fun? Hi, life is a mindset, Lorraine. Good to see you here. Ooh, Korea. I actually hear that's a great place to vacation. I like to travel alone. I don't do tours. Which is why I don't want to go to a Japan tour. It's too expensive, and I like to go by myself. I just like to walk in a city. I don't want to get talked to. I like to just get on trains and walk and visit small neighborhoods and disappear, and get away from tourists and hide out. And yeah. Yeah, Casablanca and Tangier sounds great. All right, the expansion of NATO. So I don't know if you heard that Putin is going to expand his military in Ukraine, he's saying. So he has repeatedly offered to Zelensky to surrender, and he wants to take the Donbass and Crimea for now. And people are telling Zelensky to give up and to take the deal. What do you think about that? And people are saying, look, the longer this goes on, the more fatigued people are getting. So eventually the volunteers stop showing up, right? So what's happening now is that there's 200, something like 200 people were killed. The Russians bombed an area. 200 people were killed. So there is this feeling now of being discouraged, that it's dragging on, that they've already taken 20 something percent, that the volunteers are not showing up anymore, that a lot of Ukrainian soldiers have been killed, and that this is going to be a retracted war. So you have Three of Swords in terms of where the situation in Ukraine is right now. Yes, NATO definitely expanding. We know that Finland is part of NATO now, and so is Sweden. And you have this energy of defending. August is a very hot time. That's one of the things we've talked about. Both Ukraine is increasing their attacks, their ground troops, but also now we find out that Russia is also planning to increase they want to bring in North Koreans and hire people that are trained from Central Asia. What's interesting is that you have that Seven of Wands coming in for NATO, which is a defense system. And then you have Four of Pentacles, which is also to pull back, or feelings of not having enough. The final outcome is Ace of Pentacles, which is a good sign. It would be indicating that the economic relief that they need is going to be there. And I see NATO expanding, and I don't see Ukraine surrendering. And I still see a ground offensive. The feeling here is what it's always been, that they're not going to feel safe as long as Russia has control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. It's too volatile, which is why inevitably they always take back the power plant. The fear is that when that happens, it's the closest, when or if it happens, it's going to be very close to World War III, right? So that's the concern. That's the ground zero. At the same time, people are simply too vulnerable, and so it inevitably always has to end that way. There's no way they can just sit back and let that guy have control of that area. It's too much of a threat to the entire planet. So I think, yes, definitely NATO expands, but also I don't see, despite the efforts to have peace, I think they will continue to fight hard against Russia, and I think it's having an impact. So I still see Ukraine winning. All right, we have a question here for Copper Broom. Hello, Copper Broom. She wants to know about Mark Meadows. It's so interesting that you bring up Mark Meadows, because the whole image I had of Trump calling people and calling Mark Meadows and intimidating witnesses, and people trying to take his phone away and control what he said on the phone. And Mark Meadows was his chief of staff, so if he was taking things out of the White House, you would think that Mark Meadows would know something about it. So Trump is like the gift that keeps giving, right? All right. So what is going on with Mark Meadows? I think he's cooperating with the feds. Don't you think? So we have 443 likes. It'd be great if you could like, subscribe. It would be awesome. Join would be cool. Okay, the Copper Brew. Asking about what is going on with Mark Meadows. Yeah, he's working with the Justice Department. He's cooperating. Yeah. This is the Justice Department cooperation, Two of Wands. I think that Trump is finished. I think Trump is in. There's just so, boy, talk about an amazingly interesting character, though, isn't he? Um, but his cards, Trump's cards in relationship to Meadows are terrible. Poverty, hanged man. I mean, he's not in good shape. Hopes and fears. Look at this Meadows prosecution, Ace of Swords. Just can be a card associated with truth, justice, the courts. A Three of Swords. Look at this cooperation. Also, he supplied more evidence to the feds. If you get something like a Seven of Pentacles, which would be like digging, inheritance, it also has an aspect of you reap what you sow, and then Six of Cups, which would be a cooperation card. Yeah, I think he's cooperating. And I think that if he's smart, he won't talk to, he's probably, boy, the Justice Department, you can't get any information from them. Yeah. What's the 1,000-year flood? What is this? I know that when I remote viewed Topanga Canyon, I wound up on the northeast side of Topanga Canyon, that tip area, and it's starting to crack. So the next big rain, it's probably just going to slice right off and then come tumbling down, and then it'll land up. All the water will be coming down into the basin, and then you have a new river forming in that area. It's already starting to form. So what's weird for me as a remote viewer is, if you guys already know this, what are you just sitting here waiting to just be underwater? Why don't you do something about this? Isn't that weird? Are they just like, what, living in magical thinking, hoping that it's never going to happen, that you're not going to lose the side of the canyon? You're going to lose the side of the canyon unless you fortify that area. Let's take a look. Isn't that weird? Crazy. I mean, that's kind of what happened in New Orleans too. If we don't build levees, if we don't invest now, yeah, not good. California floods. I'm just worried about that whole area. PC, what's it called? PC, Pacific Coast Highway, PCH. Well, they're being very good. I mean, now they're talking about, these cards are talking about, so at least they're starting like research into the effects of climate change in certain areas. But no, the next 2-3 years are going to be crazy in crazy weather, flash floods, cray. 1 minute hot while flooding, fire and ice. Really difficult for people. Strife, quick. Researchers coming, trying to survey the situation. I'm telling you, that canyon is not stable. So you have an area here, you have a dip, you have another area here on the northeast side. And when you remote view, you go right in there, there's a slice that's starting to crack. You get probably also, I would think, because the ground shakes. So if you start getting rain coming down off that canyon and the shaking, that whole side of that northeast part of the canyon looks to me, as a remote viewer, that gets wet enough, it's all coming down. The good news with the cards on California is you have those cards that have to do with like research. You also have quick. But my concern, man, you guys in California are going to have some crazy weather in the next couple of years. Joel Tilson wants to know about the Patriot missiles. Yeah, Patriot missiles in Ukraine. I mean, I just wish they would do the ground offensive already. They're like, well, it's dangerous. No matter when they take the power plant, no matter when, it's going to be dangerous. They're training Ukrainian soldiers in Britain right now to take back the plant. And they're working with the Air Force in Sweden. And everyone's like scared. But what's the alternative? To just sit back and have a lunatic there threatening to blow up everybody? So it's not like NATO has a choice. The question is when. I think August energetically is very volatile. I was not happy to hear that something like 200 people got killed yesterday, or today the Russians bombed. But it's just a very hot, tense, violent time right now in general. Okay, we have a question from K. Hi, Kay. Oh, thank you, by the way, Kay. Kay got me a chair. She works at this cute shop, and she was looking at different. I said, I need a chair. And she said, this one or this one? I said, that one on the right looks pretty good. She's like, great, I'll get it for you. You get my discount because I work here. And I'm thinking, wow, thanks. That's awesome. So I got it. She's got my chair for me. Thank you. I don't have enough chairs. I don't know why I'm getting more chairs. It's just me. But sometimes people do come to visit me. It happens. People like Kay. Joel, I think that would be that's exactly what it looks like to me. It looks like a ground operation. Look, the locals have done their part, poisoning the local food supply with botulism. That killed a few of the soldiers in Zaporizhia. But what's amazing is that Russia is now complaining about war crimes. Hey, when we invaded your country, you poisoned our soldiers. Yes, because you invaded our country and threatened to blow it up with turning our power plant into a nuclear bomb. So it's a bit crazy. Do you see which Democrat will get the nomination? I've always felt like Pete Buttigieg had a future in the presidency, but let's take a look. That would be cool too, because it would be the first openly LGBTQ couple in the White House. So it would be a first if Biden decides not to run. Let's take a look. He keeps telling me, Biden, that he wants to retire when he's 83. How old is he now? He's pretty much done with public servants at 83. He's 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. He might run another term. He's 81 or he's 79? I don't know. Oh, good. A woman will be the next president. The next president will be Kamala. Yep. Kamala has the job. She's the next president. She gets the nomination. The job goes to Kamala. Kamala. So if he runs and gets reelected and steps down, or if he decides to step down and there's a primary, it looks like the Kamala gets it. For whatever reason, it's saying that she's the next president. Yeah, Pelosi's retiring. I think that's open information. No, Liz Cheney's not running for president. She's not. She could go to the State Department. I think she'd do a great job at the State Department. All right, I think we're going to wrap things up, everybody. That was fun. Thank you for your undying love, your devotion, your support. Did everybody have a good time? Yeah, maybe, either Pete would be good. I don't think that they would want to take anybody from the Senate. But right now, it's leaning towards her being the next president. Yeah. It's always super fun. You're right, Geocosmic Valentine. Great to see you. Hi, Karen Kilman. Thank you. Thank you for helping today, Melissa. Thank you, Debbie Brady, for all your help as usual. Thank you, Candescent Moon. Hi, Lisa Yeager. All right, love and light to you all. Thank you for attending. We had a good time. I'll see everybody later. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to my Booksy pages. That information Debbie was kind enough to put up. If you want to donate to the channel, that information is there. And also the Wizio information, I think, was also there and also below. Be well, everyone. Thanks again. And please stay safe. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.